The year 2021 marks the centenary of the founding of the Communist Party of China. After a century of glorious history, the CPC has developed into the largest Marxist ruling party in the world. It has been in power for more than 70 years in the largest socialist country in the world and has more than 95 million party members. Today, China's per capita GDP exceeds $10,000, with the world's largest middle-income group and the world's largest social security system. So what exactly has the CPC done to win such widespread support and respect from the 1.4 billion Chinese people? Why hasn't the party caused China to collapse, as predicted by the West?
China learned from two Germans called, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels at the beginning. Then it learned from some Russians with the Russian Revolution. It didn't mechanically copy the Germans, it didn't mechanically copy the Russians, but it was intelligent enough to learn from their experience and adapt it to their own country.
与时俱进是什么意思？就是根据时代的发展、条件的变化，调整我们的路线方针政策。过去我们的改革主要在需求侧，但是今天我们发现我们的问题其实更多的在供给侧。我们有效供给是不足的，我们的高品质产品供给不足，满足不了老百姓的美好生活需要，这些决定了我们必须推动供给侧改革。
Chinese Communist Party, I call it a missionary party. So, every time when a new time comes, Chinese Communist Party will define its new mission. For example, during Mao Zedong's time, the party's mission was to build a new China, to defeat its enemy. When it comes to Deng Xiaoping, Communist Party's purpose is to get China out of what Deng Xiaoping called socialism with poverty. Then when it comes to Xi Jinping, China into a new era. So Xi Jinping has redefined the mission of the Chinese Communist Party.
实现中华民族伟大复兴是全体中国人共同的梦想。
The CPC's century-long exploration and practice has not all been smooth sailing. Instead, it has gone through many ups and downs, trials and tribulations. These have not only strengthened the party's original aspirations, but also helped the party accumulate valuable experience in running the party and the country.
There's no perfect people, there's no perfect political system, and how one reacts to mistake is a real test of leadership. The big decision that China made was to prioritize the people's welfare in economic development over some vision of ideological rigidity, which had been a dominant feature prior to the beginning of reform and opening up.
The only way you can not make errors is if you don't do anything. The question is, when you make a mistake, how serious is it? What do you do about it?
我们干的是我们的前人没有干过的事，也是其他国家没有干过的事。所以在这个过程中间，我们走了弯路。每一次走弯路之后，都是通过自我纠错回归正道。你比如现在这个全面从严治党，也是我们自我纠错的一步。因为我们党出现了腐败问题，老百姓不满了，已经影响到了我们党的生存，影响到了党的机体的健康。所以我们通过全面从严治党，以零容态度惩治腐败。
The governing of a country needs talent. The CPC long adheres to the principle of selecting officials on the basis of both integrity and ability, with priority given to integrity. This talent recruiting system is rooted in China's time-honored political and cultural tradition, which is fundamentally different from the Western model.
中国共产党的这个干部选拔机制啊，它是一个系统的工程。进入队伍，凡进必考。进入这个队伍之后，你需要到基层去历练，了解基层的情况。在我们国家不可能出现那种政治的素人承担重要的职务。
To be successful in the Chinese country, you've got to have very high levels of competence in lots of different areas. You've got to really run things. You know, maybe you come from originally from town, you get promoted and you go through a city, then you get to a province and you're running things all the time.
I remember 2017 an Englishman wrote an article and he said the big difference between China and America, the biggest difference is not that one is capitalist and one is socialist. He said one's run by lawyers and the other's run by engineers.
The Western model fundamentally is individualized. You have a concept in Britain called the big beasts. It means some individuals are supposed to be extremely talented. Or in the United States, you have lots of personalities in politics. Film star becomes president. If we take Reagan, or presenter of TV show like Donald Trump becomes president. It's all looked at individually, right? But this is not a strong system.
西方领导干部的选拔，可能他需要有良好的形象、很好的口才，背后需要有金主的支持，会表演，鼓动老百姓，吸引老百姓的眼球，让他投票。
Among the secrets of the CPC's success summed up by the international community, there is an indispensable one. The CPC has always adhered to the principle of putting the people first.
我们所做的一些重大的事情，包括精准脱贫、决胜全面小康啊、反腐败、扫黑除恶，包括我们现在正在搞的乡村振兴，都是老百姓呼声最强烈的地方。老百姓呼声最高的，就是我们最要办的事。
Every country, the political parties say people first, we serve the people. They say that until they get elected, then they serve themselves, keep their party in power. But in China, consistently, and I've been to almost every province in China and most parts of every province, I think, policies all go down to the local level and they're all focused on improving very basics. And the people.
Actually, if we look back to Chinese history, it's an very old wisdom from Confucius, from Mengzi. All rulers put people first because your power came from people. People is the most important factor for their decision making. You should always put people first. Your power is to serve the people.